that situation with pressure penalties, but not as big as that. And to put it in the top corner with that pace and that power, outrageous.
A word on Buffon, awful way to end his Champions League career. Not only does he not win the trophy that was missing out of his trophy cabinet, but it ends in ignominy. Yeah, I'm sure people in the long run will forget about that, I suppose, and remember all the great things he's done for many, many years. But it's not nice to see a legend going out like that. You can see he's just destroyed. He's just so frustrated, isn't he? He has lost his head, hasn't he? But if there's any consolation, at least he's not going to have to miss the next match for a red card. He's thrown his hands in anyway, so sod it. Every cloud. Every cloud. What a night, though. I mean, we never could possibly foresee that happening.
He was going to... It would have been the most outrageous couple of days in Champions League history. Barcelona going out for being 3 goals up, and then Real Madrid 3 goals up going out potentially. But as I said, this is what makes this competition so great. Great teams, great players produce big moments. The only thing that was predictable about tonight was the fact that we kept saying Ronaldo last minute, Ronaldo last minute.
He always has his moments, and people will talk about the penalty, but it's the leap at the back post. Not many players can get that height. I've never seen anyone leap like him. You know, you can understand the Mandzukic up against Danny Carvajal because there's a mismatch. There's not a mismatch here, but it's just Ronaldo's power and it's his agility to get the height to win the header. That's the moment. That's the special moment for me.
It's hard to describe.
It is. He's just different, isn't he? Yeah, he's different in every way, and he'll continue to score goals because of that sort of freakish nature that he's got, that body that he's got, that, you know, he's so fast, he's got such a spring, he can score overhead kicks like he did the other day. And I know people will look at it and just say, oh, well, you should score penalties, but under that pressure, that is just mind-blowing. He strikes it so cleanly in the top corner. It's brilliant.
Oh, I've said it before, and I think it's so true in a lot of his game that we see, that if you was to put... You want to put a prototype of a footballer in a computer and he pops out at the end. Ronaldo's frame, his physique, his athleticism, that will just pop out at the other end. And then obviously the ability to go with that just makes him almost impossible to mark and hold down for a whole 90 minutes.
And the mental strength.
Oh, yeah, that goes without saying.
There's a mess, there's carnage at the end. There's time when you've got to wait. I've been there. There's nothing worse than delays. You've got players in your face. You've got a new keeper coming on. And for a right footer, Gary, the safe one is to reverse.
How are your legs in that situation?
Well, I'm talking about
Ronaldo's is to pull it, isn't it, into his left, and we're all thinking you've got to revert to what you know best.
Going up for a big penalty, how are your legs, seriously? Oh, like, they must go like jelly, no?
Taking penalty, I don't know. I mean, you were a penalty taker. I hated it. I didn't enjoy doing it.
I think it's and I think Ronaldo would be this. I think Ronaldo loves the opportunity to show what he's made of, to show his mettle, to chance to show off and do something that other mere mortals can't do.
And most importantly, show his physique, to show the physique.
Well, he knows that if he scores, he can get his shirt on. And on that note, we ought to tell you what happened in the other Champions League quarter-final that was played this evening. Nothing like the fireworks we had at the Bernabeu. It's actually goalless there between Bayern Munich and Seville, which of course meant that Bayern Munich went through by 2-1 on aggregate. So we know who our quarter-finalists are now, don't we? So Bayern Munich, not a great night of football for them, but job done. Job done. Thursday night is, of course, Europa League night here on BT Sport. Arsenal are in Moscow to face CSK from 7:30 on 2HD. Arsene Wenger's side lead 4-1 from the first leg, but the way things are going this week, who knows? Atletico Madrid, Marseille and Lazio are also in action. Then on Friday, it's the draw for the semi-finals. The Europa League draw begins at 11 and the Champions League draw is at 12. It can't take an hour, can it, to take out 4 balls? Both are on BT Sport 2HD. There he is. Well, he was. A night of delirium for the Real Madrid fans in the end after a night of frustration. Ronaldo again. What a physique! And just to confirm the scoreline in the other semi-finals, you can see Bayern Munich 0, Sevilla 0. Bayern Munich go through 2-1 on aggregate. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Liverpool and Roma are our 4 semi-finalists, and boy did Real Madrid do it the hard way.
They did. They gave their fans something to sweat over. But that's football, and that's why we love football so much, because so many things can be thrown up. You never know what can happen. And
except you know that Ronaldo will score at the end.
Exactly, and he'll get his torso out at some point. But it was a game where we expected experience of the Real Madrid team and the quality to go through convincingly, and we were thrown a curveball.
Yeah. It was an extraordinary night, Stephen.
Extraordinary, and it just goes to show if you take a big piece of the jigsaw out of a good team, it can have a massive effect. Ramos missing tonight. They were all over the place defensively. There was no organisation, and I think they turned up with the wrong attitude because they looked second best all night long.
As a former Real Madrid man yourself, Michael, that was a tough watch, I expect.
It was, yeah. I'm just thinking about it, though. I think once you get a collective group that has one focus of... I mean, we saw it with Roma last night. We saw it tonight as well. You know, the impossible is possible a lot of the time. And it's very hard sometimes to be 2-0 up, to be 3-0 up, because you don't know whether to stick or twist. At least you've got one focus in Juve's mind there, and it's, as I say, we've seen it a couple of nights on the spin now. It was a fascinating night.
Real Madrid looked complacent. They started with a lethargy to their game. They didn't look... It was almost as though they thought they'd done the job, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think lethargic is a key word for the way they approach this game. They've started... Is that a chill mode? Testimonial pace, just walking through the gears, and they didn't even like get up against people. And you expect, especially at home, that the impetus will be of you to actually get up against people and make it difficult for them. But
74 seconds.
Exactly. Here we see it here. Costa, who was a threat all night, they get the ball out to the right side, which proved a dangerous area all evening, especially the first half. And Mandzukic with a fantastic header at the back post, as we saw.
74 seconds in, it's not actually Juve's quickest goal in the Champions League in a game this season. That was against Spurs, 72 seconds. I know you'd want to know that, Stephen, because you love a stat.
They certainly come flying out of the blocks, and we spoke about it earlier, about finding weaknesses in this Madrid's team, and it's certainly height at the back post if you're coming down the right-hand side. And Mandzukic capitalised twice, and they kept loading Madrid's box with crosses.
I don't even think sometimes it's height. I just think the fullbacks can't defend crosses. Both of them. I think they cover too much inside. Marcelo much prefers going forward and leaves big gaps behind. I mean, if Liverpool are sitting there watching this game, they'll be sitting there the front three thinking, wow, give us a chance against them.
They're not used to crosses, though, in Spain.
Yeah, exactly.
Very rarely do they cross balls, you know, like they do in England or Germany, for that matter, Italy as well.
Well, they get behind people, then they'll cut it back.
They do little cutbacks and whatever, so they rarely play wingers that cross the ball, so they're not used to it.
And it was a cross, of course, Michael, that led to the second Mandzukic goal. Very similar in many ways.
Yeah, it was. There's, you know, a lot of the Juve's good stuff came from this right-hand side. Marcello's obviously a top fullback, but he can get caught out of position for one, and he seems a little bit lax when it comes to stopping crosses. It's as if it's not important. Well, it is very important because they've conceded 2 goals from it, and obviously the other full-back, who I rate highly, Carvajal, he's just outsized, let's say. You could argue that the keeper's made a mistake as well.
His position on that one wasn't too bad, but on a number of occasions tonight he overcovers and doesn't know what's around him. And I think, as I said, if you're an English team, Liverpool now sitting waiting in the next round, you'd be happy to get, I think, any of these teams in this competition.
Well, they'll definitely get one of them.
Liverpool are the dangerous team, I think. They're the team that I think would be hardest to play against.
Well, you said the goalkeeper might have...
He's crying it in.
He loves it.
They're dangerous.
You were saying earlier that you really desperately want Liverpool to win.
No, I didn't.
I know you did.
It's made that clear I didn't.
He didn't say that, honestly. I was just messing about. Well, you said the keeper might have been at fault for the second goal. He was certainly at fault for the one that made it 3-3 on aggregate.
He was, and you know, it's nights like tonight why we all know they've been linked with David De Gea for so many years. For me, he is a weakness in this top Madrid team, and there's questions about him for the second and certainly, obviously, for the third.
Yeah.
It's a shocker, isn't it? I think Matuidi running, sort of going across him, maybe taking his eye off it, but I'm trying to find excuses for him. Bottom line is it's a shocking mistake.
I think Matuidi and Pjanic were big pluses for Juventus. They didn't play in the first leg, and it showed they were a much better team with them 2 boys in there. Pjanic great on the ball, keeps the momentum going with the team, and the legs of Matuidi, I think, adds a great deal to this side.
Steve was saying that they could do with De Gea.
That's another dig. He's just trying to make another dig.
Just get ready for it. All I'm saying is get ready for it. Get ready for it.
Get ready. Prepare yourself.
No, he's staying there. He doesn't need to go to Real Madrid.
For another bit. The climax to this game, the finale, was just truly extraordinary, wasn't it? I mean, it had everything. It was a kind of soft penalty decision. We probably think the referee just about got it right. Brilliance from Ronaldo, etc. Buffon getting sent off.
I think I think all of us are sitting there saying Ronaldo's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance to make this his game.
He had a header, didn't he, just before that?
The referee's got a great in there. Look, you can see it. The arms are on the back of Vasquez there. So he's made a decision there that he feels is correct. And I think it's arguable. I think some people are going to say, obviously, in Juventus colours, no, definitely not a penalty. But I think if I was on the attacking team there, I'd want a penalty. I'd be very disappointed if we didn't get it there.
Yeah. You think it was a penalty?
I do.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Look, it's not.
You can't say the referee's made a mistake.
No, it's not. It's not blatant, but the hands are there. There's a little tiny shove before he wraps his leg around, and if he doesn't give it, we're probably going to criticise him the other way around.
Did he need to send Buffon off? Did he need to really at this stage give him a chance for heroics?
Well, there was a couple of things. I think he pushed him, grabbed him, and then he was in his face, sort of.
That's just a yellow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's yellow. It's Buffon. Give him benefit of that. Let's have another look at it, just to see if we can. Sorry, I'm just throwing a curveball in upstairs there, but I know they'll be on the ball. There you go.
Yeah, I think Ronaldo isolates his man on the back post. I was expecting him to head for goal there. There are definitely two hands that go on the back, but it's very quick, isn't it? He puts them on and then he takes them off. You can just see both hands go on there, and then he takes them off. But
it's not the most obvious penalty ever.
It's not, and you've got to feel sorry for the referee as well, because sometimes there are decisions where it's a little bit 50-50, and that's the last thing he needs in the last minute.
Easier to give it when they're at home.
It is, but it's the last thing he needs in the last minute is to have a 50-50 one like that. But I think he's probably got it right.
Here we go.
I think the romantic in me would have
behind him. He's in his face. He's very aggressive. He's shouting. I didn't see any hands on him, but
you've got to know your players, though. The romantic in me wants. Give Buffon that chance.
Well, it's a heartbreaking moment as well, isn't it?
Give him that chance to make that save too. It's a big end to his career in the Champions League.
I mean, I don't know what people felt at home, but I think everyone in the studio went, no, don't send him off. Don't send him off. Let him a chance to save it. But
you don't want to see him get sent off, but I think we have to wait to see what he said or what the referee's opinion of. You know, we don't know what's being said in that moment. He could have abused them for all we know. So you've got to treat every player the same.
Yeah, I've just been told that Ian Dark, commentator, tweeted sending off Buffon was like shooting Bambi. Which kind of sums it up.
He's great with words, Ian, isn't he?
Isn't he? Yeah, it certainly was. Let's see the penalty again. Guess who?
This is just a moment where the pressure is just amped up. We were saying in here we had the pressure on us. Our hands were sweaty palms and stuff like that. But to be in that stadium and have
worse, there's more pressure if he knows he's taking that penalty and it's to stay in it.
Yeah.
You know, if it was for an equaliser, for example. But he would have loved. He would have loved that moment.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he'd have been thinking this is the chance for my headlines. It hasn't been my best night in general, but it's the amount of time he had to wait and the carnage, all the arguing and the delay, which adds to it, and also the magnitude of the game. It was a superb penalty.
It was an incredible night. Stay with us after the break as we bring you all the highlights from tonight's other quarter-final. Sevilla were in Munich to face the newly crowned Bundesliga champions Bayern, who held a 2-1 lead from the first leg. We'll show you the best of that game when we come back. So there you have it, the four semi-finalists. Liverpool, of course, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid and Roma. One from Spain, one from England, one from Germany and one from Italy. That has never before happened in the Champions League. It did happen in the European Cup, and the last time that happened, you're going to love this, Stephen, was 1981, which was won by Liverpool. They beat Bayern Munich in the semi-finals and then beat Real Madrid, Alan Kennedy's goal, of course, in the final. So the omens are there.
Yep. That'd be nice. Nice, wouldn't it?
It'll all be ruined tomorrow when they draw Roma. When they draw Roma tomorrow. He's having it. Yeah, it's 3.
I know.
He's having a go at you.
Yeah, he is.
You'll get your revenge at some point, maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Down the line. So where do you see it now? Who's favourite? Real Madrid, the bookie's favourite, I think.
Yeah, I still put Real Madrid favourites. I think I can't see him playing as badly as they did tonight.
They've played badly all season, Real, in the league, excepting probably Juve away and maybe the round before, but in the group stage they weren't particularly good. Yeah, they've not been very good in La Liga all season. Are we thinking they're better than they are now?
I just think they know how to get it done in this tournament. They've been to finals, multiple finals. They've won the last 2 Champions League. This is history in the making if they win it a third time. So they've got that desire and they've got the players, the match winners to do it, and the experience, which is key.
It's open, isn't it? Really?
It's wide open. I agree with Rio to a certain extent, because I think Madrid, when they're switched on and the mentality's bang at it, and they've got the strongest 11 out with Ramos in, they're probably the favourites, and rightly so. But
the polls kind of reflects where we are, doesn't it? Madrid marginally favourites over possibly Liverpool, 39%. Bayern Munich 13%, surprisingly low, and Roma, for obvious reasons, down at the bottom after their extraordinary comeback. What do you think, Michael?
I think that everyone will want to draw Roma. For starters, I think they're certainly the weakest team in it. Real Madrid have to still be favourites, but I think nobody will want Liverpool. And if Liverpool can get the second leg at Anfield, even more of an advantage.
I think Liverpool will be sitting there watching that today, and will take anyone. I think that's how confident they'll be after beating Manchester City 5-1 over 2 legs. I think they've got the players in attacking areas to hurt every single one of them teams.
Does the fact that they've not really been in the mix for a few years, that lack of experience possibly of this particular competition, might work against them?
If they meet Madrid.
Or Bayern, possibly. I think Bayern look slightly... I shouldn't say it.
I think in terms of experience, though, what you're talking about, I think Madrid are high level in terms of experience and know-how, especially in the final. But I think now Liverpool's players and the management must be super confident that they can go all the way. They must be.
I think it's more the style of play that suits this knockout football for Liverpool. And I think when we're looking, and we often use the word inexperience for Manchester City, for Paris Saint-Germain, maybe it's just the way they play. They're very expansive types of teams, and I think certain teams like, you know, Real Madrid, they know even though there's flair, there's a know-how, there's a gritty determination to win games. Exactly. And I just think that Liverpool play in a certain way that even though it's an attacking way, it's not gung-ho, it's not so expansive, it's more, you know, hunt impacts and then explode into life. And I think the way they play gives them more of a chance than anything else.
And I think them 3 teams there will be troubled by speed and pace, and that's exactly how Liverpool play, especially at the last 2 legs games against Manchester City. They found a way of playing. They can sit back and be tight,
and they were
then
tested
fire
there in that second leg in terms of the fact that City scored so early. I mean, that was a test of their character, wasn't it, and personality. I mean, I know they got away with it just before half-time with
they got a bit of luck,
but you need that to triumph.
Yeah, you do, for sure. And what impressed me about Liverpool yesterday was the second half, the response. Jurgen's team talk, whatever he said to them, certainly galvanised them and improved them. They weren't close enough first half. They got dominated, but second half they were a different team.
You also need firepower. You need someone to stick it in the back of the net. They've all got them, haven't they? You've got Dzeko at Roma, you've got Lewandowski at Bayern Munich, you've got Salah and Firmino, who've both scored loads in the Champions League this season. Not sure Real Madrid have got, though. Oh, yeah, him, look, with 15 goals this season, which is crazy.
It is unbelievable. The stats that Ronaldo's coming out with at the moment, 15 goals in one Champions League season and counting, is phenomenal. But as we saw there, Liverpool haven't got just the one person to worry about. They've got 3 in that top goal scorer chance there, and that makes them a real life threat.
Certainly.